Owen Dennis, the creator of Infinity Train, is making an Amogus TV series for CBS Studios, and I have complicated feelings about that. In case you don't know, Infinity Train is amazing. It's an animated anthology series about people trapped on a seemingly infinite train where each car is a whole new world. It ran for 4 seasons, or books as the show calls them, each focused on a different passenger on the train, telling their story while revealing a little bit more about the mysteries of the world around them. It premiered on Cartoon Network in late 2019, but was moved to HBO Max for books 3 and 4 since it appealed to an older audience than Cartoon Network's usual shows. Book 5 was meant to be a movie for the streaming service telling the story of Amelia, one of the recurring side characters, but WB feared that a book starring an adult character would lose the younger audience entirely. Owen Dennis pitched a much more kid-focused book 6 to appease the higher-ups, but sadly it wasn't enough, and the show was cancelled in 2021, although Owen still hopes to continue the show at some point. In 2022, WB removed the show entirely from the streaming platforms to receive a tax write-off. Among Us is a video game that came out in 2018, but really exploded in popularity during the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. It's essentially a simple party game inspired by 1982's The Thing, where players are crewmates trying to save their spaceship before it crashes, but there's an imposter, an evil alien disguised as a crewmate that is trying to kill everyone without being discovered. But if they act too suspicious or sus, then the crewmates might catch the imposter and vote them out. Its appeal is in its simplicity, charming visuals, basic gameplay, able to be picked up by anyone and played almost anywhere. It was a perfect game for quarantine since it allowed people to play together, even if all they had was a phone. There's not much of a story to it. Perhaps it'll be done as an anthology series like Infinity Train with a new imposter and a new set of crewmates every season. I can see something like that working. It's being animated by Titmouse Inc., who has worked with CBS Studios before on Star Trek Lower Decks, and specializes in adult-oriented cartoons. Perhaps that means the Among Us show won't shy away from the more mature themes found in Owen Dennis's past work, or the fact that Among Us is essentially a cuter version of The Thing, so adapting it without any deaths in an attempt to appeal to kids wouldn't really work. I think it has real potential to be something great if they can pull it off, which I trust Owen Dennis to do. Owen Dennis, the creator of Infinity Train, is making an Among Us TV series for CBS Studios, and I have complicated feelings about that. It reminds me of something Craig McCracken said in Twitter on 2022. Craig McCracken is the creator behind Kid Cosmic, Wander Over Yonder, Powerpuff Girls, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. He's one of the most prolific and well-respected names in TV animation. Recently, he was announced to be working on reboots or continuations of a few of his past shows, something he's shown no interest in doing in the past. When someone asked why he returned to Powerpuff and Foster's, he explained, "No one is really buying originals these days. They only want pre-existing IPs." Later in the thread, giving a slightly more blunt answer, he said, "I picked 16 originals to Netflix." Owen Dennis, the creator of Infinity Train, is making an Among Us TV series for CBS Studios, and I have complicated feelings about that. Netflix revolutionized the industry in many ways. Streaming took over because it was convenient and affordable. Part of how they made it so affordable is that in many ways the audience was also the product. Data collection like never before. Sure, studios have used the successes and failures of past projects as basis for what to make next, but that data was vague and tough to truly figure out. Some trends might emerge, like certain celebrities or themes or genres that people enjoy. Then there's always focus groups and test screenings. There's a famous anecdote that Disney almost cut part of your world from Little Mermaid because a little kid accidentally dropped his popcorn during a test screening. But ultimately, this was nothing compared to what Netflix could offer. What do people watch? What times of day do they watch? What other shows do they watch? If they stop watching, what exact frame did they stop watching on? What scenes do people feel are good for pausing for bathroom breaks? What do people rewatch? How long do they watch things for? Data on such specific scale that no one had ever dreamed of before. Make no mistake, you might be paying for streaming services, but you are a part of the product. The data they can collect is valuable enough that these studios can greatly undervalue their own products and give them to audiences for essentially free. Back in 2013, Netflix began making original programming with a project that began because Netflix connected the dots between data points and found that there was a strong overlap between viewers of David Fincher films, viewers of Kevin Spacey films, and viewers of British prestige dramas. So they put these pieces together to create their American remake of House of Cards, and one won 7 Emmys. It put Netflix on the map in a big way. Since then, this increasingly data-driven method of production has become the norm. Even back then, creatives like FX's John Landgraf warned that data can only tell you what people have liked before, not what they don't know they are going to like in the future. The writing has been on the walls for a decade, since 2013, that reliance on algorithms, AI, and data models to drive all creative fields could only lead to pop culture becoming this stagnated Ouroboros, eating its own tail in a never-ending cycle of remakes, reimaginings, sequels, and adaptation of things inspired by things from the 80s. Things like, you know, The Thing. I'm sure it will be an amazing show. I'm excited for it, but I'm also sad that we'll never see the 16 original shows from Craig McCracken. And I wonder how many Owen Dennis pitched that didn't meet at least 3 bullet points of synergy based around what people already have been proven to like before we got to this point, where Owen Dennis, the creator of Infinity Train, is making an Among Us TV series for CBS Studios. Something I have complicated feelings about. This was kind of a weird video for me. I usually do a lot more careful scripting, whereas this was kind of done on the fly and then edit it later down into something coherent. And also I usually talk about theme parks, and this is not a theme park, but go watch Infinity Train and subscribe to my channel. Bye!